Right, so next I'm going to move on to the tree, because everybody's been talking about this 3D tree. As I said, it does come from, or come after, the 3D star that we had with the fixtures and fittings collection. Just moved my mouse. I had to make sure that I hadn't accidentally cut you all off there. No, it's all good. And this is the shape that you're going to get. So it's a big die. Like I say, it's a big die. You're going to need your A4 die cutting machines, and then you've got all your little bits. Now I have already prepared one of these, as in I've cut it. And I have also cut the smaller panels into it as well. Okay, so this is how it works. Now, what you'll notice when it's cut is that you've got score lines in there. Lots and lots of score lines. Most of these score lines are going to be mountain folds. Some of them are going to be valleys. I've gone ahead and I've put my double-sided tape onto each of the tabs. You'll be able to see which are the tabs for gluing. They're quite obvious, really. They're kind of tab shaped as such, if you know what I mean. Gail Matthews, loving this new set, Lou. Thank you so much. And Abster Crust is currently making backgrounds for some Tim Holtz Christmas cards. Oh, we love them. Love Tim Holtz style, don't we? So what I'm going to do now, because I've already cut these pieces in, now you can cut one layer 3 at a time. So what I suggest doing is cutting your base tree with 3 of your panels in, and maybe snowflakes, or there may be this sort of fair isle design, and then running it through twice more without this die, and just doing the little panels in each time, so you get them all cut. Or just scatter them about, only have a few panels with pieces die cut out of them, or just have the middle section. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm not going to fold this just yet, because I want to do some inking and such. I want to make this a little more painterly. It's kind of a word, isn't it? So I'm going to bring in my blending mat, which I need new. If anyone wants to gift me a new blending mat, I've got holes and cut lines in this, and the ink actually goes through, so I need to be very careful. But let's just pick that up, because that just fell on the floor. So let's start distressing this, because this is the stage where I would suggest you want to be doing your distressing. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in a brown ink. Let's go with my phone standing up against my distress ink holder. Let's go with gathered twigs. Well, I've got the holder for gathered twigs, so that makes sense. So I'm going to put a little bit of brown around areas. So I think I'm going to concentrate on the middles there, just a little bit. And I'm not worrying about blending in too much either. I'm not doing anything with this back panel, because this back panel is all going to be hidden, completely hidden up. There we go. Then I'm going to take a brown, oh no, we've got gold. This is a mica spray from a distress one. This one is tarnished brass. It's going to look good with that. I'm going to put that just out the way a little bit. I don't want to get spritz on there. Now, with any sort of mica spray, by the way, everybody, don't shake up and down. It's tempting to sort of, let me take the lid, to shake up and down like this, isn't it? What you're going to do is any mica sitting in the bottom is just going to go straight up that tube. So you want to roll it around. If you're going to shake it, do it side to side, so you're not encouraging that mica to go up the tube there. Okay, right, and let's just give this a spritz. Now, I don't want this as an all over colour. I just want little splatters of it, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. You won't see that just yet. You probably won't see it so much until it's dried. I'm also going to use, this is Tattered Angels. Does anyone remember Tattered Angels? It's an old brand. A brown there. And let's just give that a quick whiz dry. It won't take minutes to dry. This is why I've done my gluing now. The backing of the glue is going to keep those tabs dry, so it's going to make it much easier for that glue to remain stuck. Okay, so just dry that off, just so it's not quite so damp. We're going to want to do our folding and scoring. We don't want to get hands that are far too messy. And lastly, now my distress spray stain. I love this. Look at the effect you get. If you love your paint, your white sort of snowfall, snow flurry effect. Now this is all probably looking a little bit messy at the moment. Let's just dry this off for the most part. I'm actually going to take, just because it's not going to dry very well on the back of the adhesive, so I can just blot that off for now. And and just make sure these bits. So what I've done is I've just added on these, I'm just concentrating on these 3 arms. I'm not worried about the back, as I say, and I've just added some distress to them. You can do a lot more later on, but it's just easier to do some of the background now. Now that's fairly dry, so I can do the folding. Let's just pop this to the side. I'll probably want that again later. I want to bring my Christmas tree in as well, because the little light's on there, so it's almost as if he's just sitting there shining away for nothing and no one can see him. Right, okay, so now we've got, you can see you've got your Christmas tree shape, and if I just fold this over, because that's the base, there's the Christmas tree shape. So let's just fold. It's easier if I actually look, now I've dampened it, it's easier if I look at the back there for the score line. There we go. So these 3 arms here are all going to fold into each other and attach to this base. So work your way around, and I would suggest, to make it easier, just initially just mountain fold everything, all the edges of the tabs. See, now my backing paper is going to start coming off my tabs, but that's fine because they're going to get stuck in a moment anyway. It just takes a few moments to go around all of your tabs and things. If you want to do your folding and then flatten it back out, you can do that before you do any spritzing, because of course when any water or any liquid is applied to a cardstock, you're always going to get that element of the cardstock fibres expanding, and that can decrease the score line that you've added in. So just be wary of that. If you're new and you're not sure where the score lines are, as in new to this die set, it might be worth you just folding everything initially, just so you know where they all are. Nearly there. I can actually see the score lines better from the reverse now I've done the spraying. I've tried this a couple of ways. So I've tried this, I've tried it where I've inked it all and then folded it, and where I've folded it and then inked it all, and it's actually easier to do it this way initially, but I always go in and I add finishing touches. Right, so I think everything is nearly mountain fold. The only ones I haven't done are there's double lines between here, and that's what's going to create the shape. So these are going to be, as you work your way from the top down, mountain and valley, and mountain and valley. There we go. So you can see now that's starting to bend into that shape. It's like a bit like a concertina fold there. So mountain, valley, mountain, valley. The cardstock I've used, I think this was a Creative Expressions one, I believe. Either that or a tonic one, Craft Perfect one, but it's a pale green. But you can use any cardstock. This will work with a really heavyweight one. There we go. So I've got them all folded. So the only valleys are the 2nd, 4th. Yeah, that's it. The 2nd and 4th on each arm as you go from the top down. Okay, so let's now start pulling this round. I'm going to need my pokey tool. I've actually turned my phone off, which is no good for seeing the comments, so I will have to just start that up again. You've said that's what you do with your leftover ones too. I'm not sure. Oh, it's not me. It's a different Louise. That's why. Talking about giving charity cards. You're all talking amongst yourselves. I love that. Brilliant. Thank you, Joe. Maureen York, hello to you as well. You're all joining me. Thank you. Right, so let's start by bringing these 3 in together, and then we'll put them onto the base. And there is no right or wrong way or right or wrong order in which you do these. What you'll find when you take the backing off of one of the tabs, as it joins, it's pretty obvious it's going to join to the next one aside it, but because it lays like flat like this, that obviously can't join. So you need that concertina fold to bring these up to be able to meet each other. So very quickly you're going to start making the shape. Okay, so it takes no time at all. It's really easy. You just glue each tab to the panel that's alongside it, that's next to it, and as you bring them in so that they line up, straight away you're getting your shape. Okay, nice and easy. So this is very similar to how the faceted star worked that we had with the fixtures and fittings collection. That one also, as you brought the tabs together, it would just fold it, bend it into the correct shape. And I love this kind of faceted look. This I wanted to do even more of them from metal. I've got 2. This was kind of going to be like a whitewashed metal effect, and this one here was silver spritzed with black embossing powders to make it look tarnished and old. So I want to have some more fun with that. So you can see I've just brought those 3 lines together just at the sides. I'm just going to tuck the bases in for now. I'm not going to worry too much about those. I'll just fold that one actually on the score line. There we go. So now just take one of the sides and just remove those tabs and press that up. You'll see, let me lay this down for you. That just sits up onto the base absolutely perfectly. Again, you might want to just push up and that lines up. It might be easier, just as easy if I do this from the reverse for you. See, if it's lays flat, it doesn't quite join. If you bring it up, it just sits in there. It's so quick and easy to do. In fact, I would be happy to say I think children could do this part of their Christmas crafting, pre-Christmas crafting, because you need to get ready early. And let's do the other side as well. Red line tape is perfect. I have used hot glue as well for this, so either or. If you're careful with your hot glue, just please don't burn yourself. One more edge just to do there. Do you know the hardest thing about this is actually doing it so that you can see what I'm doing? I'm sure people like Helen Griffin, who put together 3D items a lot as well, have the same issue. It's so easy to do, but doing it so that you can see what I'm doing is a little harder. So now all we've got is the base. You've got 2 options, because you can, if you want to, pop the big base in, and what that's going to do, if you can see there, you actually line everything up with the base, and that straightens the tree up, and then you can fold these pieces over, or you can do it the other way. I'm just going to do it the other way today because I've already put my glue on there. So when I say red liner glue, I've got about 8 rolls of red liner glue, and none of them were the correct width for me today. So I've used this sort of yellow paper tape, which I have no idea where I got it from, but it's actually quite similar. Maybe not quite as sticky as red liner glue, but it's not a bad double-sided tape. There we go. So there's our Christmas tree, and it's kind of a bit springy as well. So if you just see, it will fold into each other too. So you can make it really quirky. You can make it bend as well in different ways. So really good fun. It's kind of pops too. So if you want this, then all you're going to do is create 2 of those and stick them back to back. And in fact, I'm not even sure. I think, no. There you go. There's one of the joins. So you just can't see which is the back to back. What I did do though is I did take a panel out from the middle before I glued them back to back, and that way they just you can see the light all the way through, so you don't have to have 2 sets of lights in, one either side of the back. Does that make sense? I hope it does.